What's up, Team Stone? This is Alvin Atwater, and I'm here to bring you some news. So let's start off with the obvious. If you haven't heard me already say it, but ATS 17 is done. Currently with the editor, so I'm going to say probably next week we'll see it up, or within 2 weeks. So that'll be a thing, and of course I might start ATS today, most likely ATS 18. So you already know how I do. When we're in light novel format. So if you read any Japanese light novels, it's pretty much the same thing, the same speed. And well, not shonen speed. Shonen is weekly, but I mean like monthly. Back to that. So let's see. That's next. Here we've got ATS Universe, the very first book from that spin-off type series. I don't know if I can call it a spinoff. It's probably a spinoff. Takes place in Sotovia or ATS's universe period. So when you read those books, you'll recognize the world if you remember any of the references. You might even get cameos from other characters or you know other side characters every now and then. So the very first book in the ATS universe has had its first chapter published on Patreon. So it's kind of like Dresden Files mixed with lit RPG. If you like the modern anime Knights of the Round Table, this one's probably going to get a manga too because it'll be a lot easier to show the visual. I'm going to definitely get art for it too. But for now, yeah, it's too early for anybody to actually care much about it, I guess, except for the fact that it's in the ATS universe. Because it's written in first person, some people might not be like, they might not be feeling it. It's that's the thing when you change styles or with this one. This is an entirely different style. This is first person, uh, and it's very like Dresden Files or the grit. Some people, I just had somebody pointed that out on Patreon. Some people might not like it. Some people do might like the grit, the urban fantasy type writing. I began, I began as an urban fantasy writer, and I'm still in that area. Like my other series, which might be getting a name change, Blood for Soul. It's urban fantasy, but that one I'm not sure if I'm going to bring it into the ATS universe. I did make a reference. If you read that series, you will probably find that reference some in one of the books. Item one of the items has the main character's name on it. I forgot which volume that happens to be, but yeah, the Shattered Round Table basically takes place during Volume 4 in ATS. Now it will have time skips to and eventually be caught up to ATS's the flagship's current area. But right now we're starting a little bit before that supernatural barrier came down, so that you can kind of see who's fighting monsters in a different continent and how they do things. So over here, they just happen to have the Knights of the Round Table. Like the main character is a silver rank knight, and his weapons have levels. You you haven't seen chapter two. If you have chapter two, will kind of show about the knight sword when he pulls that out. So you'll see more on that. Um, and of course, the person running the whole thing being a Pendragon. It's going to be. I love it right now. I've got chapter one's up, and chapter two is. I think it's about maybe 75% done. I'll have to look in that, maybe 50 to 75% done. But I like where this could go. and it's not heavy lit RPG, and but it's definitely it's game lit. It's more game lit and lit RPG, and so if you want to just give that a chance, it's in the very same universe as ATS, but it's standalone. So this is one of the ones where you could show to your family and not have anything to be ashamed of. I know, I understand. Volume 1 was a little spicy. It is what it is. I do not apologize for that. It is what it is. Sometimes authors want to write without society restraints, and I was fascinated in the Monster Girl Encyclopedia universe at the time. I thought it was hilarious, ridiculous, like so ridiculous that I just had to include it in the ATS in Volume One's universe, or should I say, the ATS universe overall. Now, the problem, of course, is that it can be fixed. It's just not going to be like instant. So most people, they just sort of just dump it there. They don't even want to see it fixed. And I understand. I mean, having a monster girl, a hot anime girl, hop on the characters and do their thing. Some I understand that some normies. I've seen a lot of the normie reviews. A lot of them, like one of them, straight up didn't actually read the book, which is kind of sad. He still left a 1 star. Fortunately, that was on Goodreads, but man, the Goodread reviews, they are just mixed bag for Volume 1 and only Volume 1. After Volume 1, everything else is just chill. It's crazy. I wish more reviews would have gotten on Amazon, because like it kind of sucks when you've been working on this series for almost a little bit more than a year and a half now, about to hit the 2-year mark, and then you see some brand new author come through and boom, his shit has like 100 reviews in less than a month, and I'm just like, what the hell am I doing wrong? But it is what it is. I'm not going to sweat it. As you can see, I'm still writing the series. It's about to hit 18, but I am going to continue to watch it, and there are more, and there's 2 people now calling, 2, maybe a little bit more, a couple of people that don't read light novels. You can clearly tell, so they don't know anything about this format, and so they're sort of calling for the end of the series, and I'm just like, that's just not how it works. One thing you have to know is ATS is a slice of life lit RPG. Slice of life, comedy, harem, lit RPG. And I know some people are like, yeah, the harem's too big, but that's because you're counting every single girl Clyde has talked to as a part of the harem. Naomi is not a part of the harem. She's a side character, not a part of the harem. Claire is not a part of the harem. Once again, a side character. And yeah, I know a lot of my side characters somehow turn out to gather followings or gather fans, or should I say, maybe they're a lot better than I thought. When I'm writing them, I'm writing. Hey, but maybe that's how it is, because when I write, I just love characters. And when I read one review, and I was really surprised to see that he said that the characters were flat, and I was like, damn. He was the only person he might not be the only one. I can't read every review, and I'm not probably gonna get around to doing that, because if I could be reading reviews, I could be writing. But then again, that logic is bad too, because a lot of these reviews, if you can find the helpful ones, boom, you can make changes on the spot, or something to look through for the future. Like if you're going a bit too much into the spicy realm, then you just turn it down. Like with ATS 1, man, the backlash on that was pretty uncalled for, in my opinion. I think I don't know what about this book and its description that grabbed every Puritan out there in the world, but it did. I was very surprised. I'm like, did they like not read the description, because it clearly tells you what to expect in it? Maybe they read the title of it, um, and then even with the new cover, some people will still get surprised to find out the book is a harem novel. Um, it's not. I don't know if you can. Yeah, it's a harem light novel with harem in it. But hey, I mean, you can call it the jack of all trades for anime. Think of that. Even like I'm even going to have fun with mechs when we ever get around to it. It depends on if how many people are still sticking around. I don't know. I think a lot of people have, because the series have been going on a bit too long for their comfort. There's been quite a few drops, and but then out of nowhere there'd be a lot of people getting into it. But I think it's probably at the beginning, and then after that, boom, boom, boom. So there's really no real way to predict it. I kind of see how other authors do it. I kind of see why Valen stopped where it did, and but it is what it is, and I don't care. I like writing this series, um, and I'm going to continue writing it. I don't give a if it gets to 500 books, and it's still not done. Well, we're just going to keep going. So if you are in it for the ride, then man, hang on, because I'm going to continue flooring it, and I'm not going to rush it. The like Clyde, and I know a lot of people are not just the people who are calling the minority that are calling for the series to end, but some people, but they're like, hey, Clyde and what's the name has to meet. If I make that happen right away when you say it, the meeting will not have any. It's got to be impactful, or at least so stupid. You know how I do. It has to just be so nonchalant, or like I don't know. It has to be just something that isn't so predictable or boring, or too boring enough to be funny. But it'll happen when it happens. If it does, they might not never meet. So they're going to meet. They're going to fight. Trust me. Make sure you get your popcorn popping on that one. That might be a fight that span multiple chapters, not multiple books. I'm not trying to do that. This ain't Dragon Ball Z. Hey, I love Dragon Ball Z, and you already know that I have a lot of my fights are kind of like it, or you kind of think of Dragon Ball Z, but you know I'm not gonna have characters powering up for multiple chapters, and Volume 15 was kind of like that, but that was across multiple chapters and not multiple books. Could you imagine 3 freaking volumes of nothing but fight scenes? It'd be horrible. Made me tired out. I'd drop the series myself if it was like that. But yeah, I don't know if people don't like slice of life or something, but I mean, why'd you come here then? It was a slice of life from the beginning, presented that way. I mean, for goodness sake, the first thing the mission, the system wanted him to do was go to school. I mean, that kind of says it up right there, and that the school was going to be run like an anime high school. But I understand too. I'm definitely not going to ignore criticism if it comes up. It came up with Volume 8 with the festival, the school festival. People, somebody actually posted on there that some feedback regarding that. So I was dragging it, so I moved on with that and got to the to the good parts. I wasn't to be fair. I was enjoying doing the writing of that, but I think it's something that might fit better in the manga. The manga will actually be able to show you. I had a couple more some crazy ones planned, but when people start complaining about it, it's like, yeah, you gotta listen. You have to listen. Whether you implement that or not, sometimes you have to listen when people are trying to tell you something. I just don't see the point of ignoring feedback when it's given to me completely free, which is very nice of people that do that. I appreciate it. Sometimes I might not agree with it. Sometimes I nod and I'm like, all right, you got a point there. I review it carefully multiple times. Anyway, moving on. Schedule is going to be changes. It's going to be a few changes because the ATS universe is now being implemented. So you like I think I have the Death Star. Yeah, right here. Screw that one. It's going to take a lot longer than I thought to edit that, and it needs a hell of a revamp. Um, and while I was enjoying the story, it just the editing part because it's to me it's just the dialogue. I got a different standard now. The old me probably wouldn't mind, and for the most part, the dialogue is okay, but it's just I personally didn't like it. And I just wanted it to improve it, but it's going to take forever. So it's not the story itself; it's the time that I don't have. Because ultimately, I'd rather work on ATS and everything ATS related, and not have Death Star taking up too much time. It'll stay on the side, and I'll get to it when I do. I'll probably edit it every now and then, but those chapters are long. The book is long, and it's only getting bigger. Um, that's what she said. I'm just kidding. But yeah. So yeah, Hell to Pay is going to be a name change there. That's for the Blood for Soul series. That one might be tied to the ATS universe. It does go. It does have multiple realms in it as well. It's in the first person, and it's it actually had a following before I took it off of Royal Road. It was gaining a following. So but at the same time with Amazon, it's a Russian roulette game when you keep stuff that's been even if it's a single chapter or a couple of chapters, it's still Russian roulette when you're with Amazon's exclusive clauses and stuff. But so there will be changes, but for the most part, it will stay like this. I'm going to try to get more artwork done. I got to change the title for Hell to Pay to something else because that's a very I don't know what I was thinking there. I thought it was cool at the time. That was like years ago. But then more people started using this as a title. And you type in that, you'll see a lot of them. And it's just like, wow, you guys don't give a fuck either. It's like, dang, come up with something else. But, and I got to change this too because Amazon screwed one of my books over. Somebody named their series Blood and Soul. And so my second one is getting mixed in with theirs. So anyway, I want a new anime style book cover for this, and it's when you read it, it's kind of it's first person, but it definitely you'd think of anime with it because yeah, it is, yeah. It's not like I'm spontaneously a weeb. I've been a weeb for years, since childhood. So, let's see. Moving on. Yeah, but you know, ultimately, the health of the series is, it's all right. I'm not writing this expecting to be that big and nothing. I'm happy that you guys took the time to join me. Whether it's and even taking a second step and joining on the platforms like Discord and Facebook. So that's pretty fucking awesome. I'd never ever, I never thought I'd have readers like this, and and even when I bitch about some of the lack of reviews, I'm not like anal or that. I'm just like it's like let's look at like I got a lot of books, and I'm not going to lie, because of this, all of these books from a single series, they can be quite intimidating to get in. So I should know not to expect that many reviews. Um, like I said, it can suck when like a brand new book sort of gets like a ton of views in like a week. It's like 45 reviews in a week. Damn, it took me months to even get that high. But I got to stop doing that. Like people's taste are people's taste, and what I like is not what everyone else likes. Uh, you know, other than the anime, and even some of my anime taste may be different. But like I'm not going to sweat the reviews or anything, because and if and people should be able to review if they feel like it. If they don't want to, they don't want to. Like, who cares? Like, I'll live. I will live. So the only reason why by the way, the only reason why authors sweat these reviews is because of the bullshit system that Amazon themselves put in place, and it just makes the competition much harder than it needs to be. Like the algorithm is, it it's been brought up. It's sort of debatable. Like it could be completely unfair, or there might be reasons why they show this and not show that. So you got some authors that kind of get screwed over and based on number of reviews and ratings. And then you got some who continue to flourish. They might have like hundreds of reviews and they don't actually need the screen time as much as those who are trying to get their work shown. But hey, that's just the way the cookie crumbles. Um, but yeah, man. I like writing in this genre. I kind of like the a piece of all the pie. But I do know the downside about writing in the anime genre is that, well, there I've seen posts where they just hate anime, and it's like, well, whatever, you do you, man. But then I've seen like authors that I like, like I like Brandon's work. Um, look at this, man. Look at this art. Look at this. Look at that. Um, he's another one that trying to bring light novels to the West, and so I'm not competing against him. I'm hoping that he can. He's been here actually before me, so I can understand why his audience might be a lot bigger. But we writing completely different styles too. So I think he's a little bit more faithful to the light novel standards than I am. But hey, illustrations are expensive, man. So I'm trying. I'm trying. Um, I only can add whatever's left in the bag. I'm waiting on payday so I can start getting like my other series a brand new cover and a title. Um, it's pretty nice of the manga artists to volunteer to draw those up. Very nice of them. Very nice. So I don't have to go look for these artists. He hires some pretty damn top tier artists too. The man has connections probably to the anime industry. I've heard he knows the Android 18 voice actor, which is pretty fucking cool. And so I'm pretty fucking impressed and just glad that he continues. And some people don't like his work, but you know what? It's the same for me. It's the same for some of your favorite harem authors or lit RPG authors, whatever. The haters are always going to be everywhere. Well, I don't want to call them haters. Let me take that term back. Not everybody's going to like everything. Let's put it that way. It's criticism, feedback, etc. I may not agree with 1 star because I think a 1 star is something that's just unreadable, something that has the lowest tier of basically no effort put into it. But that's my opinion, of course. That's not yours or anybody else's. Think for yourself. So yeah, like I said, I'm not going to, even if you see me post about the reviews or ask for reviews, don't think I'm sweating it. Like, don't feel any kind of pressure or nothing like that. Um, not that I'm saying anybody, because for the most part, everybody has enough common sense to just either roll your eyes or like, I already left a review, you'll be all right, or whatever. We all adults. So we got a lot of decent. Look at this art. It's great. If assuming this is showing up on the screen, by the way, we got a lot of good stuff in this genre that's competing against the traditional publishers. So yeah. So moving on. In case you don't know, manga. The newest manga is up. You can always just click there to see all the chapters, or it starts you from the beginning. It shows you all the chapters from volume 1. So the latest is up. And in case you aren't already aware, we got a new manga artist, and so his work is just adorable. Like, Chika is amazing. Harumi is amazing. Main character who looks more on model. Not that I'm throwing a jab at the last manga artist. His style was different. It just didn't fit the series. That's the same with the the character artist. His style, I really like the character artist, by the way, the former one. But the problem with him is that I think there was because I forgot where, I think he's from Thailand, I think, and so it's kind of a language barrier. A lot of things probably lost in translation. So when I give a description, it often misses the mark by far. And on the Discord, I'll post a work in progress from him, and we'll debate about it. We'll sometimes we cringe, like some of it is just awful. But he doesn't mess up that much, but it's collective to the point where I decided, you know, since the manga artist is kind of volunteering. Well, not I wouldn't say volunteering, but as the manga pages release, he makes better versions of the existing characters, and you'll see the actual intended version of the character, and that's wow. Even side characters that haven't been created, like Kazumi, Harumi's friend from like the earlier volumes, she still shows up every now and then, but a very minor side character. But even that, looked very good in the manga. So anyway, I think that's going to pretty much wrap things up. And yeah, so if you have any questions, just hop on the Discord or ask me in the Facebook group, whatever helps you, whatever is best for you. I'll get to it as soon as possible, and provide the best answer I can give. So if you want to, just like when you see the other books, hey, if you want to give them a chance, you can. If not, hey, they'll still be there. um, ATS is going to continue expanding, and there will be spin-offs. There'll be spin-offs in Clyde's children's point of views. Um, as even I'm thinking about doing Dark a spin-off as well, maybe later. But it's all going to be expanded as long as the audience is still here, because if too many drop, not. But that's what the spin-offs are kind of. Hopefully, will nourish that little bump, because like the Shattered Round Table is able to stand on its own. You don't need to read the flagship at all, and while it does take place in Sotovia, you can perfectly be fine starting off with that. It's just the lit RPG elements are a lot lighter. It's more like game lit. Well, like I said, game lit and lit RPG. You'll still see the system every now and then, but the fighting will not be interrupted by the system prompts. Not like the flagship. So anyway, just thank you for reading and listening. Ooh, excuse me. Have a good one.